Oh.
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 Wow. That looks good.
Hey guys, Levi from the Rag Company, and with me
is Lucas from customer service here at the Rag Company.
And we are going to be answering some questions on what we think a detail should cost based on some pictures and some posts and things we've seen on the internet. Now, I've been a detailer for nearly 30 years, and Lucas has been...
I've been detailing for around 4 to 5 years, but as a business, roughly 3 years now.
There we go. So you're going to get both ends of the spectrum. So let's dive in and look and see how much should a detail cost. We are going to be looking at Reddit, specifically the subreddit r/detailing. So we're going to be looking at your posts, and then Lucas and I are going to basically deduce what we think you should be charging for those details based on, well, my experience and your experience.
Absolutely. Let's get into it.
Check it out.
All right, so here's the first one we got.
All right, new business. Am I pricing fairly for the work I do? All right, so we got a BMW 5 Series, 7 Series. It's a European spec. All right, newish detailing business, running for nearly a year now. I have people saying I should be charging more, but I feel like it's fair to me to be compared to some other detailers. Looks like he's based in Ireland. Full detail takes me 6 to 8 hours. That's seats and carpets washed and dried, included, for 80 to 100 pounds, depending on the car and how dirty. I put up before and after of one car I did a few months ago. I don't do any polishing on the outside for that price, just a good wash and wax. So we've got an interior detail, a wash with a wax. We don't know what kind of wax. We don't know if it's spray wax. We don't know if it's a hand wax.
But in that interior, he's also shampooing the carpets.
He's shampooing the carpets. Now, 6 to 8 hours seems way too long for
80 to 100 pounds.
100 euros, actually.
I don't know what that translates to USD, but
it's $130 USD.
$130 USD.
For 8 hours worth of work?
You need to up your prices, my guy.
That's, yeah, so, I mean, you got to look at it from the fact that you're, even at a 6 hour, let's say 6 hours, 100 euros in 6 hours.
Still not worth it to me.
That's what, how many euros an hour? It's like 15 euros an hour.
And then you got your overhead costs.
16.6 euros an hour. So you're making 16 euros an hour. And that doesn't include your chemical cost, your equipment cost, all
labor
that stuff.
cost, gas, everything.
I mean, that's, yeah, but I would even bump it up and go 150 euros and maybe even 200. An interior with just a light wash on the outside, and I would look into getting like a spray wax, because realistically what you got to be thinking about is waxes only last about 3 months.
Yes.
That's realistically what a good normal, whether it's a hand wax or a sprayed wax, is going to last you 3 months. So I would do a spray wax, 1, to save some time. 2, it's easy because you can use it as a drying aid. Exactly. So you can spray it on while you're washing the vehicle. And then really you're just working on the interior. I would hope that you would use something like my SOP that is on our FAQ page on our website, theragcompany.com, that'll show you how to go about the process of detailing a car. And that hopefully will pick up some speed, because that should really take you 4 hours inside and out. And at 150 euros or for 4 hours, that's decent money. That's perfect. You can work from there and you can build your skill set and you can increase your payment or charges or whatever you want to call it.
Absolutely.
So, what do you feel like that?
Yeah. Actually, you know what, Levi? What's funny is, you know what's easier than a spray wax?
What?
Hitting that subscribe button.
The next one is going to be dog hair interiors. Oh.
Is this acceptable for $280?
That's a minivan with the stow and go.
Had 2 detailers that spent 5 hours cleaning the interior of the car, wondering this is a good value and if they could have gotten all of the hair out.
Well, that first picture is full of hair. Now, mind you, all the seats are laid flat, so that makes it nice. That's a lot of that looks pretty dang good.
Yeah.
Okay, dirty interior center console, clean center console. I mean, like, there's probably a little more scrubbing they could have done, but
when you're that deep on the dog hair, you know, you kind of gotta.
Yeah, look how dirty that is. Yeah, it's pretty good, man. I think it's not their fault that your car is beat up.
Looks like they're even putting some of like a dressing on some of the interior.
They've dressed all the plastics.
Yeah.
I think
$280, I would say, is very fair.
maybe go back, maybe pick up some cookies and maybe some Diet Pepsi, take it over to them, drop it off and go, hey, just thanks again, really appreciate it. That'd be really nice. I would love that.
Be pretty awesome.
So apparently this next one is from Gabe here. He, because he likes to pretend to be a detailer.
Oh,
he thinks
absolutely.
he's a detailer. He's
getting there.
He's got employees working at his house while he's here. He's like created this whole other business that I don't know, it's weird. Anyway, point is, he's got a video he wants us to watch, and then he wants us to give a quote. What if it's his?
Probably
what if it's
is
a car
his.
he's got to work on?
If it's hammered, it's definitely his.
Oh, I saw this one. I love this.
Oh, I did see this.
Yeah. I've done cars like this.
Bunch of paint on the interior and whatnot
This is
too.
a painter's truck.
Yeah.
So two things that most people don't think of. This doesn't look that bad.
No. The outside to me doesn't look that bad at all.
No.
That's,
The inside's a lot more work.
I wouldn't touch that.
But notice, pulled the seats.
You have to for that kind of something like that.
So, and what most people don't realize is that this is, looks like they probably just bought new seats from the junkyard.
Most likely.
Paint and painter's trucks, most of the time, they're spraying latex. Latex comes off, so if you have a good hot water pressure washer, you can blast most of that off. And if you coat a car in a citrus all-purpose cleaner, something like if they put Forced in an IK and just soaked it straight,
Probably
and then hit
most
it with,
of it would come off.
with a hot water pressure washer at 1800 PSI, I mean, most of that stuff washes right off.
Yeah. Well, I'd say even if you don't have a high pressure washer, once you get to your clay step, like most of that's going to come right off, I would feel like.
Yeah. So this, I would say, this was probably a good 8 hours if it was at my shop. Probably take 8 hours. I'd put 2 guys on it. I probably would have quoted 10 years ago when I had my business. I probably would have quoted 500. Now I probably would have quoted 1,000, and I would request that they source the seat.
I'd say that's pretty fair. For me personally, I'd say once you start getting into that restorative detail kind of thing, I wouldn't even touch that, so I can't even give a quote for that. But the outside, generally, assuming they didn't do any polishing or anything, I'd say that's a pretty...
Well, they did polish.
Oh, did they?
Yeah, there is polishing done on it because they did bring it out. So, but even advanced and a wool pad, blue wool, you could get some great results and get some great gloss and shine out of that. So, I mean, that in and of itself could be just an hour worth of polishing.
Yeah, that's true.
So, I dig it. Swirled exterior.
If we're lucky, it'll be black paint. And it is. Good car, 50/50s.
Goat car, 50/50s it says. Some sanding,
Pretty
lots
good
of cutting,
50/50.
lots of polishing. What else does it say? Anything? No pricing or anything on it.
Sanding.
Wow.
That looks good.
Yeah, wow. Holy cow. All right, so this is something that I would have actually loved to do. This is the kind of stuff I enjoy.
Yeah.
So for myself, I would have washed the vehicle, right? Done a full decon wash, but I would clay it, and then instead of stopping there, you know what I'd be doing?
What would you be doing?
3,000 grit on some sandpaper.
Wet sand the whole thing?
Wet sand the whole car down.
That's where you lose me.
I would probably say you got 2 hours in your wash, clay, and sand process. And then you're probably, at my shop, we would have had probably 4 hours of polishing time.
I've never even seen a car that thrashed in person.
But I always look at it as a challenge. This is a skill set. You want to see and do it just to see if you can do it.
Right.
And I always looked at that stuff and go, oh, that's fun. I'd rather work on exteriors like this than really hammered interior.
Oh, I totally agree. Exteriors are way more up my alley than interiors.
So I'd probably say $1,000 and 5 or 6 hours.
Yeah.
2 people. If it was just me by myself in my shop, of course I'd tell them probably a week because I want to take my time and not burn myself out on it. But I would just work on it in the evenings and weekends. Yeah. And heck, you might, in your area, get $2,000 for it. You don't know. It just depends on the customer and what they want to spend. But man, look at that thing. Oh, this is looks like a Toyota Avalon is what it is. So yeah, it's a Toyota. So wow, look at those scratches. How did it get so many scratches
I
on
have
it?
no idea. Pack of bears attacked that thing.
Yeah. Said a goat car, so they live on a goat farm and a bunch of goats crawl all over it.
Was it the goats' car?
No, look, attacked by goats. Far from perfect, but perfection wasn't going to be attained. The reaction from the customer was more than worth it when he snuck in a day early.
Might be, that is one of the best 50/50s I've seen.
Yeah, champion right there. That's awesome. Dig it. Okay. So this one's a dirty interior, which is exactly what I just said I don't like doing all the time.
This is like one I just did last weekend.
What is that? So tan armrest with some dirty grime in the black on there. I'm gonna hit that side and see what it looks like. Well, nice. Good
Turned
little
out
change
good.
there. Whoa.
Looks good.
All right. Yeah,
Looks
it's
clean.
clean. So all right, not bad. This is what I saw. This was 90% of the stuff I would see. Because I would also do a lot of dealer work, and 90% of the time you get a customer that just traded their car in. They didn't clean it. They just wanted it. They were like, I'm tired of this car. I want a new car. Most of the time, people who are buying a new car, it's only based on the fact that it's clean and smells new. People clean their house all the time, but they don't realize that they can go out and clean their cars. And so it gets people going to where they're just like, man, it's just too overwhelming.
Yeah, take a peek at that armrest right
Yeah,
there too.
and you can see it's not on the passenger seat, but it's all on the driver's seat. So that could be grease. It could be, maybe they're a mechanic,
Yeah.
or they're, a plumber and they're crawling under houses, and they're just dirty. They just have a dirty job and they get in their vehicle because that's their transportation. We don't know. They might actually have a work truck and this is their to and from to their work site or workplace to pick up their work truck, So
I would say, based off of what I can look at off the pictures, I would assume, especially like with the door panels, you're gonna have to steam all of that while scrubbing it. So that's gonna add some time. Looks like they might have added a dressing. There's a little bit of sheen on here. Light shampoo on all the seats and the carpets. I would say for me, just for that level of filth and whatnot, I'd say around 200 would be a fair price.
I think it's great. Yeah, I would say this is a standard interior in my mind.
Yeah.
So I would be at 200. For the grease, I would probably temper it and basically say like, hey, I might not be able to get all of it out, but I'm gonna do my best. 225, 250, right? Just bump them up a little bit and just say, look, I got to spend. The rest of the car is going to maybe take me 2 hours.
The bulk of the time
I really want to
spent
spend
on
that
grease.
driver's side. It's going to take me an extra hour. I'm at $50 an hour. We'll just give or take, say. So that's where I would put it in there. Figure out what your absolute minimum is.
Yeah.
You walk into a tattoo parlor. I don't know if you've ever been tattooed.
I have a tattoo.
Okay. So as you can see, I've had lots of tattoos. But most tattoo parlors have a minimum, meaning they don't care how small it is. It may take them 5 minutes. It's a shop minimum, and it's $100, or it's $50, or it's $75.
The next one's what? Paint and road tar removal.
Paint road tar removal.
It's always
I
a
love
fun one.
these. Oh, I'm sorry. You were not paying attention when you were driving, were you?
Nope.
Yellow road paint all over a brand new Jeep Grand Cherokee.
Yeah, that sucks.
First things first is I would call your insurance company. That's the first thing, because this is an insurance claim. Road paint is designed to bond to the road surface and not come back up.
Yeah.
Which means once it's up and on your vehicle, it is bonded to the vehicle. So
I can't tell if those are plastic liners.
yeah, well, they might be carpet too. So
Which is
here's the
worse.
reason. Here's the things. Yes, if it's plastic, we could probably get that off on all the plastics.
Yeah.
We could scrape it. We could get all that off there. We could dress the plastics. We could restore them.
Only on the
We
paint
could
tires,
get
though.
all that. On your tires, it's on the tires. It's going to wear off. It's not a big deal. We can try and rinse it off as best we can and get it off with a pressure washer. On plastics and rubber, I've had the best luck just pressure washing them off. Has no issues. On paint, this is where it's going to get to be a problem.
Yeah, that's, at least in my experience, when you start having to do the, paint transfer removal at that level and it's that bonded, I mean, you might have to wet sand that whole area.
Well, no, sooner rather than later. It's easier to get it off. So the soonest you can get it in. If it happened that day, I'd be already going down to the Dollar Tree and buying me a bunch of Vaseline.
Yeah. Vaseline?
Yeah. So you're gonna be using petroleum jelly. If this is you at home and you wanna do it yourself, petroleum jelly on the paint.
Okay.
You slather it
Never heard of that.
on that paint and you let it sit overnight in the garage.
That'll soften it up.
It'll soften it enough that you can then take a scraper, plastic scraper, like the KCX scraper that we have on our website, and scrape that off. You're gonna break it all off.
And then just have to go through and polish
Then
the
you're
whole
gonna
section.
come back with a solvent. I recommend lacquer thinner, but because of the plastic, we wanna be careful because we could damage all that plastic with the lacquer thinner. The goal is that you'd get everything off. But here's why I say I recommend you contact your insurance company, because there's still gonna be yellow paint in places. You're gonna wanna replace all that plastic. If you want it done right, you wanna replace all the plastic. You're gonna need to repaint those doors. And honestly, you're gonna maybe need 2 new tires. You might have it on the wheels. It's a mess. And that's why at this point, I would say, Lucas, if you got this job, I'd be telling you need to be charging them about $1,500
Yeah, I'd see.
to do this.
Don't think I would take that.
And I
job.
don't even think you're gonna get 90% of all of that off.
Probably not.
And you're gonna be hating life because this is one of the most tedious jobs in detailing, is removing road paint.
Yeah, that doesn't look like a fun one for me, if I'm being quite honest.
I would say you need to charge for it and note that it's gonna be a long process. And that's where the customer is gonna get frustrated because they think, we just ran through some paint, just get it off. This is the special paint that does not come off.
Road paint.
So it'll come off plastic and rubber, but like you said, if those are felt liners, it's not coming off in the fender wells. So you're gonna need to buy new ones of those. So there's a cost for that. You're not authorized or certified to start pulling panels and things
Absolutely
off of a car. So this is a body shop thing. This is something where you just go, hey, this is what's gonna have to be. This is a job I would leave up to your insurance company.
So we're gonna move on to a baseline interior, so a standard interior.
So I would assume a basic interior may or may not include a shampoo, carpet upholstery,
Very light.
a light, cleaning the door panels, dash, center console, cup holders, all your nooks and crannies, windows inside and out,
Absolutely.
pretty much. And maybe a light wash. So,
How much should I have charged? I originally charged $160 because I'm new and I really just trying to learn the speed and techniques down. They thankfully gave me more because they felt bad, but what should I have charged them?
all right, so GMC pickup.
Little work truck maybe?
Let's go to the next pick and see if there's a back seat. Okay, back seat. So this may be a Tahoe or a Suburban. Yeah. Okay. This is a normal level of dirt, I see. I mean, you go into it looks like a Tahoe or a Suburban.
So there's no after pictures, unfortunately, but
I would say 160 is not bad to start. It's all black, which is nice. Black carpet, black leather, black door panels. I mean, that's all good. That's easy to work with. If it had been white or cream, I probably would have wanted to charge a little more. Black, you can get away with a lot more. You can hide a little bit.
I would say based off of the pictures that I'm seeing, 160 is probably what I would charge for something like that.
There you go. That's not bad. At my house right now, I'm about 200 to 250 for something like
200 to 250?
So, and that's what I would say, just because I'm assuming it's probably going to take me about 4 hours. 3 to 4 hours.
3 to 4 hours, I would say.
That's where I'm at with that. But yeah, I think you were right on 160. I think that's a good price. And who's not to say your area, it might be a $300 deal, and that's why they gave you more, because you were already giving them a deal.
Alrighty, next we got a paint correction in ceramic coating. Ooh, and it's an RS6 Avant.
Okay, so just finished up the 6 RS6. It's an Audi of America demo vehicle, so it's beat up with a lot of scratches, heavy swirls in the entire vehicle. Also had some bad rotary holograms. After a 2-step correction coating and a lot of time and patience, we finished 12 hours later. I still feel it's too much time.
Yeah. For
And
2-step.
was it just an exterior?
Let's see.
Okay, nice. Well, so, all right, so go back. Those are car wash scratches. So this is probably Audi of America demo vehicle. So it might have been on location. They might have had a car wash.
Probably. At like a big dealership.
Yeah. And they just ran it through. And so it was probably washed. And then anybody that used it probably also ran it through a car wash. And so I understand. Sometimes dealership car washes, rental car washes are not normally maintained the same as a consumer car wash. So they actually do more damage
Than even a regular car wash, you think?
So I used to get cars from a rental company, and they would bring them to us either when they got ready to sell the rental, or say it got damaged and they needed us to clean it up, right? Or they'd get a bodywork done, they'd get a fender repainted, and then the rest of the car would look like that.
Yeah.
And they're like, hey, we need you to make this all match, because now it's glaringly obvious. We would have to wet sand the paint because the scratches were so deep, the scratch pattern from the car wash, that we had to wet sand just to create a new scratch pattern.
Yeah.
So 12 hours I could see if it's car wash, repetitive car wash scratches.
But at the same time, they don't mention any wet sanding or anything, so.
No, but just a two-step correction.
Yeah.
Looks good.
Yeah.
Looks really good.
Someone in the comments is gonna get mad about their lighting choices, but you know.
I think it looks great. So the next question, what kind of coating? Let's see if it says.
Nothing about the coating.
Yeah, no, I think it looks great. I'd probably do $2,000, $1,500 to $2,000 for that.
I'd say for me, in my experience, I'd probably quote around two-step correction and coating, probably $1,400 to $1,600 for that vehicle.
Yeah.
And black paint's a little bit more finicky, so.
Well, it's an Audi, so it's a little harder.
Yeah.
So,
Newer Audi too.
yeah. But yeah, I think we're right about there. So we'll say 15 to $2,000.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
Perfect.
Totally fair.
12 hours isn't too bad as long as you're getting paid for it.
Yeah. Ooh.
Now I know why detailers switch to more higher end clients before and after. So as of late, I've been getting a lot of soccer mom cars out of nowhere, and it seems to be some sort of soccer mom rush or something. Some people say that the vehicle doesn't look bad, but believe me, seeing the condition in person tells another story.
Those are famous
details.
words that everybody has
So-
heard. It's not that bad.
They go off and talk about like how there's so much stuff, sand, dirt, grime, chicken nuggets, all kinds of stuff. Yes, this will burn a detailer out, but you as a young gun, this is the kind of stuff you got to cut your teeth on.
Oh yeah, this is what I get every weekend.
You have to do this stuff. So I always got frustrated when I see guys go like, oh, I'm not doing this, I want to do Ferraris. I'm sorry, you will make more money off the life of this vehicle than you would on an exotic. Plain and simple, because they'll keep coming back.
Yeah. Especially if you make a good first impression. If you do it
Yeah.
once, and then they're the people that'll start telling the other soccer moms,
Yeah.
and then you get the whole soccer team mom.
So already this is a dual tone interior, so black and red leather. It is looks like an Arcadia, maybe. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. This is just a same type. This is what parents go, I need to sell this thing
Yeah.
because it's dirty and it smells. Well,
Yeah, there's kids in the car
you
for
haven't
sure.
ever vacuumed it or cleaned it, and now it's clean. And that's when people go, oh, I love it. Oh, it's a Mazda CX-9 maybe. So
Honestly,
yeah.
that's not that bad.
No,
it's
it
just
looks-
a lot of stuff to vacuum. That's about it.
Yeah.
That's a normal car.
These
me.
are awesome.
Yeah.
And this is a great transformation. I don't see what the problem is.
I would say, did they say if they threw anything on? Leather
So it looks like
conditioner?
they used some Shine Supply products. Seats came out really good. The biggest challenge was all the sticky spills that were stuck in the infotainment buttons and not. Yeah, it's pretty much normal. That's gonna happen. You're gonna get customers that are gonna say, oh, it's not too bad.
Yeah, that's what they always say.
And here's rule of thumb, if they say it's not too bad, it means it's awful. And if they say it's awful, it's not that bad.
Here's one tip that I've learned over the past few years. If someone tells you that's not that bad, immediately ask for photographs before touching that vehicle.
Yeah.
That's my rule of thumb. But I would say everything here, conditioning
Yeah.
the leather, steaming the knobs, all that stuff.
If this was just
Same
an
as last
interior,
one.
I'm right back at 200, 250.
Yeah, for me, 160-ish, probably my
A
range.
lot of it is I would tell them beforehand, please get all your garbage out
Yeah.
if you can.
I try to tell people
Like
to
they
do
pulled
that.
the car seats. I'm hoping they pulled the car seats for them. Well, there you have it. Hopefully that you guys enjoyed our, opinion,
Yeah.
basically. And if you want to be like Gabe and just randomly send us a video, you can do that as well. Or you can send us pictures and maybe see what you want to see on the next one.
Yeah.
Maybe you bring your own disaster details to it. Now, if you're a detailer and you want to give out your 2 cents and say, hey, this is what I would charge in my area, because again, guys, we're in Boise, Idaho, and this is basically what the two of us are telling you.
Yeah.
So if you have a different price in your area, maybe you live in Atlanta, maybe you live in California, maybe you live up in the Great White North of Canada, or you're in another country, maybe you're in Europe, maybe you're in the UK, please put it in the comments below and let us know what something like this would cost in your neck of the woods. So make sure you send those pictures and maybe a little story to Levi@theragcompany.com or
Lucas@theragcompany.com.
and we'll make sure they make it into the next video. Now, as always, guys, make sure you like, share, comment, and subscribe, and stay tuned for more videos right here at the Rag Company YouTube channel. Thanks for watching.